What was that problem you were trying to solve?
The problem was air quality. So making a device that ventilates at the face was a no-brainer to me, and I felt like why no one have ever thought about it and why it doesn't exist. And when I realized it didn't exist, then I decided to create it. So I came up with a continuous monitor that's self-aware, the first AI automated continuous monitoring machine that ever exists on God green earth that neutralizes methane gas and coal dust at the source.
How did you even start with an invention to solve this problem?
First, it was just a thought. I asked the question to myself out loud at work one day. Then it came to me in a dream. And God gave it to me. He gave me the whole concept. I took a pad and pencil and I wrote it down, how it works and how I see it working. And then when it got to the point where I was putting in for my patent, I made one of the hardest decisions of my life, and I left the coal mine industry just to pursue it.
All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. We got a special edition today because we have an Authority Formula podcast interview that we're also putting over into our Daily Mastermind because I feel like we've got an individual here that's pretty passionate about what he's doing. He's definitely got an innovative product, and he's got a mindset for business and creating a result. And so we're happy to have him here with us today. Brandon, it's good to have you here today. How are you?
I'm blessed, sir. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, this is going to be great conversation. So listen, man, you're a coal miner, an inventor, a father of five. You've got a revolutionary new product, which is really geared around your passion for helping with air purification for miners. So you've got this background, and you've partnered with, West Virginia University and Francis Manufacturing, all kinds of different individuals on this thing. But I want to talk about this passion you have right now. So can you give us a little bit of your background? Like, where are you from? Like, what's your background in this whole coal miner industry?
Well, I'm born and raised from New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Um, I came to West Virginia, Morgantown, West Virginia, around 2005 to play football at Fairmont State University. And around after I finished school, I got into the coal mine industry around 2011, and that's when my journey into the coal mine industry.
So it's interesting because the coal mining industry, I think a lot of people are disconnected from that. Obviously, not if you're in West Virginia. Um, but this is exactly what we're talking about. This is mining coal, and there's all kinds of health complications and things that are associated with it. But it's one of those things where, like, most of us, our lives wouldn't move forward without it, right? So
Correct.
what made you decide to do that? Was it like, look, I got to get a job and support my family? And how long have you been doing that?
Exactly. So I got married, and to the mother of my children, and we started having kids, and then she said, "You need a better job." So I was like, "What job can make me money?" And then my friend that worked in the coal mine industry, I played football with, he drove up to my house in this nice vehicle, and he showed me a pay stub, and I was like, "You make that type of money?" And then I got into it, and that's
Isn't it crazy though how, a lot of people do things that don't necessarily contribute to what they want to do long term. Maybe they do them for the money, maybe they do them for their family for whatever reasons. But how it was interesting to me how this can pivot you though into an area you are passionate about. So you had a lot of experience in this. You've had some experiences even recently that involve health complications and issues from coal mining. And talk to me a little bit about that and why this kind of created a little bit of a passion for you. What are some of the things that you've experienced in that coal mining industry?
well, in my experiences personally, I have a lot of near misses. I've been in a couple roof collapses as a boulder, and I've been in a couple pitch points that could have taken my life. And then a lot of my coworkers, I've seen them go through a lot of health issues when they retire. A lot of older gentlemen in their 60s, and they hear these stories where great men retire and then within 6 months to a year die, and or on breathing machines. And it was terrifying. It was heartbreaking to me. And then I thought, I have 5 children. If I don't do something or make a change, then that could be me in the near future.
It's wild because there's a lot of people right now in their lives that might be doing something they don't love. In fact, it might even be harmful for them, for their family, for their future, but they're doing it because they ain't got a choice, like a lot of the coal miners and a lot of the individuals in this industry. And here you are, rather than being overcome by your circumstances, you took that as an opportunity to pivot into an area that created an opportunity, but more importantly, solved a need, solved a problem. What was that problem you were trying to solve?
The problem was air quality. When you mine coal, we have an old way of ventilating the face and using tubes, and this process can be continuous, like strenuous. You have one gentleman running back, grabbing the tube, running back to the face, hanging it up, and that can be very tiring to that one individual. And also, the air quality, you still be standing in poor quality of air. So making a device that ventilates at the face was a no-brainer to me, and I felt like why no one have ever thought about it and why it doesn't exist. And when I realized it didn't exist, then I decided to create it.
Do you think that we're going to get into that here in a minute? But do you think that you've always just been kind of someone that's entrepreneurial, innovative, that's kind of looked for ideas, or was this a true like problem in your life that you just felt you were pressed to find an answer for?
That's a good question. I didn't have that entrepreneurship. My whole mindset when I was a young man is just to play football, and then I
Yeah,
had a severe injury that changed my life, and then I got married. So I was scared to go into the coal mine industry, and then I fell in love with it. After like 3 4 years, I realized, wow, this is I really love, and I'm actually good at it. And
yeah.
all my coworkers, um, they put me in a position where they like I'm respected because of my work ethic,
Hmm.
and I have the whole coal mine industry of my co-workers supporting me. They want this machine because they feel like it can change lives, and they want it. They want to mine with it. They want to, yeah. They all excited like I am.
Yeah, it's a couple things for just for our listeners. I want to kind of point out. It just shows that there are opportunities in everything. You don't necessarily you might find something that you're getting some passion for, but you just don't know how it can create a full time, long term for you. Or you might find a problem and you just have no clue how you're going to even solve it. But with innovation and with constantly being curious, which you were, you're like, why are people not doing this? Why is it not being fixed? Some of the most recent inventions in the world were things that everybody looks back and goes, "My gosh, why all these years did we carry suitcases without wheels on them? That makes no sense, right?" But it's just
Right.
somebody's got to be thinking out of the box. So, tell me what this invention is that you came up with and what it does.
So I came up with a continuous monitor that's self-aware, the first AI automated continuous monitor machine that ever exists on God green earth that neutralizes methane gas and coal dust at the source. And what it does, as you cut coal, it would take the coal dust and ventilate it through itself and clean it through these stages that we have in the air purification system. And all of it AI self-aware, self-monitoring will let you know when to change the filters. And then the back of the monitor will be clean air, so you won't have any contaminants out of that air.
Man,
You
what
won't
a
be,
novel idea. And not only that, but like even maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, this wouldn't even be possible. So it's interesting how timing comes into play for success. Wouldn't you agree?
yes, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
So you have these things like you've mentioned. We were talking pre interview about how in 2016 they stopped, investing in healthcare for miners, and there's stats around how miners will retire and die 6 months later. Like all these things have really driven your passion. But what finally got you to do it? Like what were you just sitting at home one night and decided you want to put this together? Like what motivated you to do it, and how did you begin that process? If you're not a electrical engineer and things like this, like how did you even start with an invention to solve this problem?
Well, that's a good question. I know it might sound crazy, but first it was just a thought. I asked the question to myself out loud at work one day. Then it came to me in a dream. It came to me in a dream, and God gave it to me. He gave me the whole concept, and I seen it like playing a movie, watching a movie, and it wouldn't leave me alone for a whole week. And then I started saying, you know what? Let me investigate this. Let me study this. And then I took a pad and pencil and I wrote it down, and I wrote every detail, how it works and how I see it working. Then I would go to work to my electrical maintenance guy, and I say, "Do you think this idea will work? You think?" And they had no idea. They was helping me construct this concept uh, at work. And then when it got to the point where I was putting in for my patent, I made one of the hardest decisions of my life, and I left the coal mine industry just to pursue it.
Wow, it's so many lessons to be learned in that, right? Like it all starts with a vision. I love that Napoleon Hill quote, what the mind of man can conceive and believe it can achieve. But it does start with a vision, and then you got to get it crystal clear in your mind, and then you went and looked for help. I think a lot of people stop because they don't believe in themselves. And Les Brown spoke for me for quite a few years, and he used to always just say, there's greatness inside you. And if you just step aside outside yourself for a minute and realize that even more now today than ever, there is the resources available to help anyone make a difference. And then you said you made a hard decision, and I think that's also what stops people. So you've made this commitment to pursue your dream, and now you have this product that's a real thing that you're pulling together investment capital for. I mean, what's and you've got a bunch of partnerships, right? Like, what have you put together around this so far? Like, where are you at in this stage?
So right now we made partnerships with Marshall University, WV University, small business of West Virginia, and I made partnerships with CEO coaches like Brian Blair and Vince Cavino. They guide me along, they mentor me, and it's a wonderful thing. And I can't be more appreciative of this situation that I built, that God allowed me to build. And one thing that you said is believing in yourself. I believed in God first, and then I believed in myself. And I said, I think I can do it. And as long as I seek the kingdom first, then I know everything will be given unto me. So that's
Yeah,
been my goal.
yeah, yeah. I'm a big believer in faith first. It's because like faith is something you can have, and you don't need to know the answer. Like belief has to sort of come from experience, right? You've seen something happen, you could believe in yourself, but faith, you could just make that decision to have faith, and if you have a good vision, it comes together. So I think that's a very great point to point out for our listener. And the reason, and that's honestly, it's the reason, guys. I'm having Brandon on the podcast because the message behind the message, right? The message here is you can solve problems no matter what your circumstances are. You can create solutions. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about, Brandon, is like you don't have to be a rocket scientist, engineer, or anything nowadays because of the power of AI, because of aligning with partner. You mentioned it's such a great lesson, partnershiping with credible sources, coaches and mentors, people that have done it before. Do you feel like all of that is what's making this thing happen for you?
Absolutely. If it wasn't for those connections and people believing in the concept, believing in the vision and seeing it, because you can see it yourself. But if no one see it with you, then you can't bring that vision into fruition. And having these powerful men and women that I have met to say, you know what, you got something, you're investable, we can believe in you, we can get behind you. And even yourself, it's been a wonderful situation to be in. And I
Yeah.
pinch myself every day when I wake up. I really do.
Yeah.
You know,
That's when you know you're having fun, right? When you
yeah,
when you when you see that. And you've even locked down patents, correct? You've patented the
yes,
product?
yes, we fully patented. You have the one a utility patent, the highest patent that you can get in the United States. And when I have more funding, then I can patent it globally, and then that's going to be my next step.
So you're now doing both, putting your prototype together, looking for investors, which is a whole nother area that you didn't have knowledge in, but you're stepping outside your comfort zone and stepping into your vision, right? Like I talk a lot of times with people that most people are living in their past, or they're caught up in their circumstances. But when you have a powerful vision, it can pull you forward, right? What is your vision? What is it you see happening with the product and the goals of what you're going to accomplish here over the next little while?
Well, my vision is to first bring this into fruition, let people see it, let people see the concept that it is real, and also let investors know that we are on a game changing, not only just in the coal mine industry, but globally around the world and underground and above ground. So this air purification device, we got designs that target your home, target coal power plants, and also the um, chemical plants, all
Chemical
these
plants. Yeah.
all these industries that are hazardous to people's health. And also, like you said, going back to 2016 when they had um, canceled healthcare for long-term coal miners, I would like to be in the forefront of running for office one day to change that reality and give coal miners um, healthcare back for lifetime. Because our job is essential to the American economy and essential to the American people. And not only we sustaining ourselves, but we sustaining America. Power start in West Virginia and underground coal mining. So I believe that we should give back to the people that are helping us in our life to sustain our life. And
Yeah. Yeah.
hopefully I
That's a
can be in front of that.
Yeah, that's a powerful vision. And, I know there's a lot of people that will want to be part of that vision, whether it's, individuals that are just part of it or whether it's investors and things like this. I love the vision you have for that. Um, what's the best way for people to be able to get in touch with you, whether they just want to learn more about you, what you do, or maybe they're even interested in, the investment opportunity, because this is a technology, not just a product. What's the best way for them to connect with you?
Right now, you can go to my website, evolutionarymining.com. You can fill out the information brochure, and then my team will contact you and reach out to you and
Excellent.
hopefully.
Yeah, and I can put, listen, guys, if you're listening to this, I'll put a bunch of his social media handles and his website in the show notes so you can click on that as well. But before we take off here, Brandon, I just want to ask you one last question. What's your advice for somebody that might be in their circumstances right now? They're like you, they want to create, they want to do something big. They want to, they want their life to create a bigger impact and meaning. And they just kind of don't know how to get that process started. Like what kind of advice would you give somebody like that?
Well, my first advice is give your life to God, and then write down a vision. If you don't write down a vision, you wouldn't, like the Bible says, a man with no vision will perish. So you got to have a vision, a clear vision, and then execute that vision and meet people around you that can help you with that goal, that believe in you. And you can believe in yourself all you want, but if no one else believes in you, then you can't accomplish anything.
Yeah, I love that, man. That's a literal blueprint right there. If you're listening, to have a vision and clarify your vision, take action, and surround yourself with the right people. Couldn't have been said better. So, well, awesome, Brandon. I appreciate you being with us here today. And listen, if you're listening to this show and you felt inspired or motivated, you want to connect, let us know what you're up to. Share this episode. Hit us up on the Daily Mastermind, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Pretty much everywhere. But just remember this. Look, I say it every day, especially on the podcast. It's never too late to start living the life you're meant to live, but you got to take action. You gotta get committed. And I would add to that on this episode, you've got to be part of something bigger than yourself. And I think that's one of the purposes of this episode, in addition to the amazing technology and ideas and stuff that we shared. So that's our message for today, guys. Have an amazing day. I look forward to talking with you soon. This has been the Daily Mastermind.